a smorgasbord of content, you know.
Yeah, for your lunch hour.
Please send us your stories. We love judging people.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be liquidating everything me and my wife own.
Please read this. Obviously I'm a girl.
Cool mode activated.
Oh, I see you. You got hit by the emergency. Speaking of talking.
Screw you, homophobe.
New episodes Tuesday and Friday.
I got the most age-defining question to ask you guys.
I thought you were going to say the most Asian question.
Yeah, I was getting a little nervous there.
What is an Asian question?
I immediately thought something, and I would like to apologize.
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Mikey.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
an Asian question?
Kinda. I mean, ninjas. That's a thing.
I feel like that's like,
We're teetering a line.
yeah, we're really tiptoeing right now.
Not even 40 seconds in. This might get us canceled.
Do you remember the Daniel Tosh bit about that? He was talking about like how Americans stereotype like other races, and he's like, yes, I know I stereotype. I know they're exaggerated. I don't care. Every time I think of an Asian man, I'm like, one, they're either working at a Panda Express or they're ninjas.
God.
It is my favorite shit he's ever said. So mine's always been Donatello,
Why?
because he was the nerd, and like purple's my second favorite color. I think that's where it stems from.
That's fair.
What about you?
Probably Leonardo or Mikey.
I've always been a Mikey kid.
Yeah, I love the pizza and the nunchucks and
Skateboards. Yeah.
That cracks me up.
It's kind of just my humor.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like
Michelangelo.
not that I'm a dude, bro, but it's just like the brain dead characters are way funnier than like
Yes.
the sophisticated
True.
ones. Speaking of Ninja Turtles, this is a good segue. I went to New York last week,
Hey, there you go.
and I brought you guys gifts.
Aww.
Just pulled out a handgun.
For Josh,
Oh,
a giant
Oh,
shark
hey.
from New York. I wasn't sure about you, so I just got you a
Yankees hat, yes.
Hopefully they fit. If not, you can adjust them. But
Oh, yeah.
Perfectly. Thank
I
you.
figured
sir.
you could always use new hats.
I own like one black hat that I lost like 2 weeks ago.
Well, there you go. Well, now
I was
you've got a
looking for more
Giants
white
hat
hats.
from New York and a
It's,
Thank you,
Yankees
sir.
hat from New York.
I'm
You
now
get a
like
little
way
bit
more happy that I decided to wear red.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Go
too.
with your fit.
It literally looks like you guys.
Hey,
are
he's celebrating the Russell Wilson signing.
Yeah, and the Jameis Winston zone.
Hey, Mr. Unlimited.
We got the most likable, most unlikable quarterback ever.
and Tommy DeVito.
Well, yeah, the resident Italian.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of New York, I went to Hell's Kitchen, which is where Daredevil is from.
Yeah.
Segue into the Daredevil update. 5 and 6 are mid.
Ooh.
Damn.
You were excited for it yesterday.
I was so excited for 2 hours of just Daredevil. Episode 5 could be not in the series and I would be happy.
Damn.
Like, it doesn't serve anything
That's
to me
tough.
personally. I guess if you look at it objectively, so the whole show so far is him battling with, like, am I going to be Daredevil again?
Mm-hmm.
Something really big happens in the first episode, and then ever since then it's just been like this boiling point of like, how much can I take? And I do appreciate that the entire time he's trying to fight the urge to like bust out and be Daredevil. Like he's trying, like you see him pray a lot, which is really neat in these 2 episodes. I'll give him that. Like seeing the Catholic roots and like they're really harping on him being a lawyer, which is like nice. Love that for this. Episode 5 was just like so random. It didn't service the story they were telling at all. I guess if you look at it through the lens of like it was another push to get him to want to fight people, I guess. I'm not really giving much away because it doesn't service any of the story, like I said, but the whole thing takes place in a bank. The entire episode.
Saying that.
Huh.
The entirety of the episode. There's a cameo. It's pretty neat. Is an okay cameo. It's not anything I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But it was like, hey, they're doing what they can to connect where they can.
Yeah.
Episode 6 was the better of the two last night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm dating when we're recording, but like your friend said, you mentioned before we started filming, that Daredevil is back in the suit. Kingpin is kingpinning. They introduced the character Muse.
Yeah. I remember him saying something about that too.
If you're unfamiliar with Muse, he is a anarchist, kind of vigilante guy that paints murals, but no one knows how to wash them off of the buildings because he is a serial killer and he is infusing paint with blood of his victims. So like they can't
Get rid of it.
They can't get rid of it. And he's like putting epoxy, blood, and then paint together, and it's like they can't wash it out of like the bricks or like.
That's interesting.
So he's making some gross murals. I am upset. I'm glad. So okay, I'm not really spoiling a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
They have an interaction, Daredevil and Muse, and it could have been over really quickly. And I was going to be very upset if they took that route and he was just like literally 15 minutes of the show. I was going to be really upset because there's a lot of depth with a lot of the way everything's set up right now that Muse can be a problem.
Yes.
And they almost just threw him away.
Ugh.
I was really upset, and then there was a scene of him like scurrying away, and I was like, okay. Like, so 5 and 6 so far, in that order, are the worst 2 episodes, in my opinion.
So would you say, because I know the first episode got you, even if it's by a slight margin, would you say it's kind of declining in quality from the beginning?
No. I think episode 4 is the best episode.
Okay.
Okay.
Followed by 1. So I'd go 4, 1, probably 2, 3, 6, 5. I know that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are both excited about episodes 7, 8, and 9, which are the last 3.
Probably where it all comes together.
Yeah, I'm very eager to see, but it was cool to go to New York and see.
Where it's all inspired.
Yeah.
I love New York. It's my favorite city.
Yes.
And in moving, I'm moving right now. I'm in the middle of a big move. Thank you. I have deduced that my favorite superhero is not Spider-Man.
No.
It's been overtaken.
It's Daredevil.
I remember you told me that
Respect.
yesterday, and I felt like everything I knew about you was a lie.
Genuinely, I was going through all my stuff, like all my comics and my Funko Pops and, whatever, all my nerd media, wildly disproportionate when it comes to Daredevil stuff. Like, out of the water, Daredevil. And then I started thinking, I was like, that's so crazy, because I've always loved Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking about it, and the amount of content for Daredevil is just so much more, and I like it more than Spider-Man content.
Well, and I don't know if this is like a universal experience or not, but I feel like for a lot of people, everyone's first favorite superhero is almost always Spider-Man.
Or Batman.
I was going to say
Yeah.
that or Batman.
That, because those were literally my 2 favorites when I was growing up, was Batman and Spider-Man.
It's my 2 favorite now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not to knock what you just said, but
Oh, no, I get where he's going
for
from.
me, it felt like a good moment for me to be like, damn, I'm growing up.
Yeah.
A more mature style superhero.
Like,
than-
Spider-Man is
Like
a teenager.
Deadpool.
Yeah, right? Spider-Man
I mean,
is...
literally, though.
Spider-Man is a teenager.
Right.
Like, that's the whole premise. Like, and by the time he's, like, almost done being Spider-Man in a couple of runs, he's, like, in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
So it's like... I guess subconsciously I was kind of craving a more, like, adult, like, complex... Spider-Man's not complex. all his whole thing is that he just loses a lot of people around him. That's not necessarily complexity to me.
Yeah.
The whole thing I love about Daredevil and Matt Murdock is like he wants to be Daredevil so bad, but it is against everything he believes and like stands for, but he also has to stand for it. Like it's such a complex I love Daredevil.
I think as you said that, I literally got recommended 2 videos after class where you told me that. It was like 10 reasons Daredevil's the best superhero, or like Daredevil is Marvel's greatest creation. They were like retrospectives on like stuff like that, and I was like I get everything's like spearheading towards that. I think more the anti-hero has become more and more popular than it used to.
Yes.
Especially like Punisher. People love the Punisher now, and they didn't really back in the day.
Well, Punisher, I love, this is another thing that they're handling in the Daredevil show. And John Bernthal's actually getting his own special feature as the Punisher. Don't know if you guys saw that.
Ooh.
They're handling like the misuse of the Punisher logo, like how in real life, like some corrupt cops and just like bad people in general are using the Punisher symbol as like the we're the man of the people, whatever that type of energy is. So
even though Punisher's a cop killer.
Kind of. And I guess there's a newer iteration of the comics that deals kind of with that, and they're almost ripping it. Exactly. I love the way they're handling the show. There's like 4 or 5 different comic runs all telling the same story. Like they don't in the comics, but the way they're doing it in the show, they're telling like 4 or 5 stories at the same time. And it's really satisfying. Except for episode 5, it's the worst episode I've probably ever seen. The action sequences are good, but like it just didn't make any sense.
Not a lot of substance otherwise.
It didn't make any sense. But that's all I have for Daredevil. I'll quit harping. He's my favorite superhero, and I love him.
I almost said proud of you. Happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you, man.
Thank
You're
you.
getting through this TV show. I know it's been a lot.
Thank you. It's hard waiting every Tuesday.
Like fainting over here, man.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. Well, we'll see him on Mondays on the podcast. And
I'm
he's sitting
just
there. He's like,
I'm Daredevil.
He's at the end of the week, man. He's itching for it.
That was a Punisher quote.
Yeah.
I did it because I liked it.
The March Madness is also another big one.
It's where I'm going to tune out.
That's
all
going to
you
be
guys.
going on.
Yes.
How are you doing bracket wise?
Terrible.
We're filming this before the Sweet 16 starts. For like preference.
Let me show you my ESPN bracket. It sucks. Like it's so bad.
I had Iowa State in the Final Four. I lost them, but I still have my other 3. That's the pattern I noticed. If you have 3 of your Final Fours still well into the Elite 8, you're pretty well set.
Yeah. So one of my brackets is okay, not awful. But this
Alabama.
This one kind of stunk. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even do a bracket this year. I watched about 2 minutes of the Louisville Cretan game. That's all I needed to see.
I don't know why, but for some odd reason, I decided to take North Carolina all the way to the Elite 8.
So who's left?
Go down the line.
So right now, all right, let's go to the active brackets.
Well, I'll say we only do a breed-in family. It's my immediate family, and my girlfriend has now joined doing it. I'm in 3rd. Like I said, my only bad hit is Iowa State's out. I have Tennessee winning the whole thing.
Okay.
So, and my whole family's Kentucky fans. So I'm in a kind of a win-win situation this Friday because
that's fair.
If Kentucky wins, my whole family's happy. If Tennessee wins, then I am going to run house on the bracket.
That's fair.
Ooh.
But if Tennessee wins, that means that the Antichrist has won. And that means that they're one step closer to the Final Four. And listen, if there's one thing that's fun to hold over Tennessee basketball fans, it's that they've never been to the Final Four. Death, taxes, and Tennessee basketball not making the Final Four. Please let the trend continue.
Because my whole family is Kentucky, I do end up just accidentally watching just a lot of Kentucky basketball as it goes out. And I do think you guys will make the Final Four if you beat Tennessee.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Because, like, looking at it, like if Kentucky beats Tennessee, then they have to take on, if because I'm just going to say this: Houston's going to beat Purdue. Houston's one of the best teams in the nation right now.
I have Purdue upsetting them.
So if we look at their KenPom ratings, and KenPom, it's basically it's an efficiency rating for a basketball team per like 100 possessions, and they have the sixth highest offensive efficiency rating and one of the highest defensive efficiency ratings as well. So Houston's going to be a really, really tough team to beat if Kentucky can even beat Tennessee, because, I mean, Tennessee's really good
Here's
too.
the question. Say Purdue wins. I don't watch basketball, but one of the guys I went to high school with, shout out Trey Kaufman-Wren.
Yeah, dude, fun fact, he's
Love
actually
Trey.
leading the tournament in rebounds per game right now.
Yeah.
At
Wow.
11 and a
He's
half.
playing amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Wow. So we were in the same grade. We were friends kind of on and off, but love Trey. So I hope that they keep going. What happens?
I hope they lose hysterically.
What happens?
I'm an IU, so
That's fair.
it's like one of the biggest rivalries.
What
IU and
happens
Purdue.
if Purdue beats Houston and plays UK? Who wins that?
I mean, I think that'll be a really interesting matchup. I think.
I definitely
I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense played in that game. I think if Kentucky and Purdue get matched up.
so
I
take
mean,
the over on points.
Yeah,
is what I'm
they're both really efficient offensive teams. They can both shoot the ball really well. Like Purdue, his name's Braden Smith, baller, and then
hearing. Trey.
Trey. He's been really solid in the post as well for them. So
I would just really love. Trey was the top of our class in academics. Like he was just always like the best. I would love to see him go to the NBA. Like I think
he could
this
play
would
in it.
this
Oh,
would
yeah.
absolutely help him, and I hope nothing but success.
What I will say is kind of my overarching like prediction. I do think an SEC team is going to win the championship.
I mean,
Florida's looking good.
It's either an SEC team or it's Duke,
True.
which again, it's Antichrist number 2.
I will
Duke, man.
I will say I do need I need Duke out, and if it's for my bracket, I need Duke to lose, I need Kentucky and Florida to lose, and I need Tennessee to win.
See, I think for this bracket, let's see. For one of my brackets, I have Bama winning, and then for the other one, I have
I will say small victory for the entire world. UConn losing.
yes.
They
I didn't
won
even
2
finish that other
championships
one.
in a row, and their head coach is the most insufferable coach of all time.
Yes.
Like they'll beat like a team of like, they basically played a bunch of middle schoolers. They'll win by 50, and then look at the fans and be like, "Look at you fucking!" And it's like, you're one of the top teams in the country playing a no-name school. Shut up.
Right.
And he threw such a fit whenever it was like the Hawaii Invitational
Oh,
debacle.
dude, I hate Dan Hurley
where,
so
where
much.
they lost 3
It's like,
games in a row.
We'll never be playing in a tournament ever again. It's a waste of time. And, my players, they just get too overworked, and I don't like it.
Players just suck more dick than the Las Vegas Strip.
Well, and now I'm just, I'm going to lose half my team to the portal, and it's not fair, man. I don't know, man.
I like the Dan Hurley spread.
Thank you. I don't like him at all. Let's see how
No one
my...
does. I don't even think UConn fans are kind of like, he's an okay coach, but kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I do think it'd be funny if Arkansas and Kentucky somehow met in the championship.
Dude, that would
pray.
be...
Kentucky's old coach is on Arkansas.
That would be
Okay.
So it'd be old coach facing his old
insane.
team.
Yeah.
Isn't Patino coaching Kentucky? Who's
He's in
he?
St. John's.
St. John's.
For
Yeah.
about 30 years in the past.
Yeah,
Coached there in
literally.
like the 90s.
Well, okay, because like after U of L won the championship in 2013, I stopped watching
just
college
stopped caring.
sports.
Yeah.
That's when I migrated to like professional level sports, because like I've always been a Cavs fan. Like I've got baby photos in a Cavs jersey. That's when LeBron was back in Cleveland around that
Yeah.
time. So it was like, let's go. It's our time.
Yeah.
And boy, was it our time. 1 year.
Have you seen that TikTok of the guy singing about the Lakers players? They got Luka
Yes.
Doncic.
Yes.
Dude, the
Yes.
LeBron... The
LeBron
LeBron
edits?
TikToks right
Yeah.
now? Okay. I
Let's just
have...
see.
Yeah, I got a really good one. Literally this morning, so... Sorry.
That's when I moved over to like NFL. When did the Seahawks and the Broncos play in the Super Bowl?
Ooh.
2014?
Like 2014, 2015.
So this
Peyton Manning.
was the natural progression.
Yeah, they got killed.
I went from college level sports. I was a Seahawks fan just for the bandwagon, I'll be honest.
The Legion of Boom.
Yeah. And then the LeBron trade happened, and then I was paying attention to NBA and NFL at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Cavs started doing good, bang, Cavs, and then Katie went to the Warriors.
And that's where you stopped.
And it was just like, this isn't even fun anymore. Like, they're going to win 3 in a row, and I think they did.
That's what it feels like watching soccer now, or football, because there's this club in Spain called Real Madrid that's just super rich, and there's no salary caps.
They just buy everyone.
Yes,
They
they
buy-
buy literally everyone.
They have
You
like
can't hate that, though.
No.
I mean, get your money up.
Spain.
Right?
What's crazy to me with it, and Pacers are starting to get it going. Pacers have
Yeah.
always been like, they've either been absolutely terrible or mediocre. Like they've had a few seasons where they're great, and we're finally we're kind of getting close to the conference finals, but there's no shot in hell we're beating the Cavs or the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics are the only team, and now that I'm like old enough to bet on games and stuff, I've kind of I'll watch 1 or 2 games here and there.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that the Cavs were good again until someone said, "You guys know you're like the number 1 seed."
Oh,
right now."
dude,
You won
they're
like
tearing
18
it up.
games.
And I was like, hang on,
Like
wait a
Donovan
minute.
Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen.
Yeah. And now I know.
Yeah.
But I was like, hang on, you're telling me I can watch my team again?
Are they still
So
number
now-
one?
They've been balling.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still
Now-
number 1 in the East.
Now, I'm like all in on Ohio teams. Like, go Buckeyes. Go, anytime there's an Ohio
Go
team.
Browns.
Go Browns.
Yeah, no, Browns or Bengals? That's the important
Browns.
question. Okay.
Thoughts on Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
I don't watch the NFL as much.
Do you have any idea
No.
what Deshaun?
Did he do something crazy?
He has
play the clip of what he did.
Massage Watson.
So Deshaun Watson has, I believe it's 50 sexual assault or harassment things against him.
Yep.
He
So what did he do that was crazy?
Happy endings.
I was kidding.
they so the Browns, I think they had like a masseuse thing for their players, and he would constantly just ask like all the masseuse women, it's like, can you jerk me off?
That's crazy.
From the
And
New York Times. Lawsuit Information Center. Deshaun Watson settlement amount.
Oh, come on.
that's crazy. Right when I said that, you should absolutely play like a news clip of
This Saturday, Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson found guilty. I don't think he was found guilty. He settled for all.
$230 million.
That's his contract.
That's
but-
how much he's worth.
So in the payout, he had to pay every plaintiff $1.5 to $2.5 million. So
And there was 30 or 50?
Look at it's
it
somewhere.
only in this court.
Never in my
It
life.
seems like it was about 20ish or so, but they're probably more that just didn't get.
Never in my
paid
life.
out.
In the year of 2025, do you think I had to explain to Deshaun Watson? No, but he
his buddy Justin
tore
Tucker.
he tore his ACL like halfway through the season last year, and the Cleveland fans cheered.
And then he tore his Achilles this year, and everyone was celebrating on Twitter.
Wow.
And one of his teammates, Myles Garrett, came out in like an interview, and they're like, "Y'all are harping on him too much." And people are like, "We're harping on him too
Like,
much."
bro, he's a sex offender.
We're watching a serial rapist be our quarterback for the next 4 years.
Well,
Yeah.
I bet
Cleveland hates Deshaun Watson.
Yes, bro.
I was
I have
watching.
so much respect for Brown fans for doing that.
Yeah.
I think I
Yes.
was watching a Browns-Packers game probably like 4 or 5 months ago now. And my buddy, I was like, dude, he was like, I want to bet. He had never sports bet before. I was like, just bet on something crazy. Put a couple bucks on something crazy. If it hits, it hits. And he bet on Nick Chubb. I was like, you need to bet on Nick Chubb because it's a boner joke. It's very funny to me.
He's
And
not the best running backs in the league, too. It's funny.
and he did it, and it was like Nick Chubb. He crafted this crazy parlay, but it was like Nick Chubb to have so many yards and like an impossible, an odd amount of number of touchdowns
Like
for
3,
running
4
backs.
touchdowns?
Yeah, like over 3 touchdowns. He took it, and Nick Chubb hit the parlay and won crazy money. And I was like, I am now a Browns fan.
You bought a Nick Chubb jersey.
Hell yeah.
I want a Nick Chubb jersey. But Yeah, I'm an Ohio fan, banished to the West.
You want to get into some of these Reddit stuff?
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll pivot now.
So to kind of keep the theme of it being like a Reddit show, I'm on r/Gen Z under the unpopular opinions tab, okay? And I filtered by most controversial, which are basically the downvote to upvote ratio to where it evens off to 0.
Okay.
So these generally have people divided because like
Gotcha.
most unpopular opinions, if you like give me an unpopular opinion about America, they'll be like, I think we should worry more about our health. And it's like, that's not an unpopular opinion. It's just something not a lot of people focus on.
Yeah.
Like, so this one, you really do get a mixed bag of some weird shit.
This might get us canceled.
The first one, Dora the Explorer could easily beat Goku, Superman, and or One Punch Man
Okay.
because of her backpack.
now we're just lying. Okay.
She can conjure anything from that backpack, though. Superman Kryptonite.
Okay.
She definitely beats Superman.
Well, okay, but what's she using to beat like overcharged Goku?
Vegeta.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, she's pulling Vegeta out of her backpack.
Pulls Vegeta out.
Okay, you know what? Fine. I'll give it to you.
I think that's not unpopular. I think that's logic.
But she's only been able to pull like tools out of her backpack.
How old's
like
Dora?
not people.
You don't know how deep her bag is.
That's fair. She can have an insanely deep bag, bro.
How old is Dora?
You could say she's always in her bag.
Yeah.
How old is Dora? I swear if it's like Dora's been on the air for
She's definitely like 6.
7.
Oh, dude, yeah, she's whooping ass.
Yeah, dude.
This
She's like Lil Ness.
this person has it in categories like my musical unpopular opinion. The Beatles are a product of just very, very good marketing and aren't exactly all that great musically.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think they're a tad overrated, but I still like most Beatles stuff.
I
Yeah.
like one Beatles song, Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
like a
Eleanor
couple,
Rigby.
but like I feel like for what they did for music as a whole, you have to give them their flowers. At
Yeah.
least a little bit.
But I mean, I think other people have done more.
Yeah,
Definitely. But yeah, TV.
I would agree.
A show doesn't need to be deep or intellectual to be good, nor does it have to be all that depressing.
Prime example.
I disagree.
Rick and Morty.
Really?
A show.
Okay, it's kind of depressing, I'll be honest.
Rick and Morty. Yeah, Rick is like an alcoholic.
He tries
yeah,
to
that's
kill
fair.
himself
Yeah,
like at
it's
the
a
end of
little
like season
depressing.
2.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, and you thought it was good TV, so you inherently disagree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's some brain rot shows that are fun, but like, I don't know. That doesn't even feel like TV to me. Like, if I can turn it on and not have want to pay attention to it, it's not really TV.
I get that. I feel like TV, it's all about entertainment and stuff. Like, I had a conversation with my buddy about, like, stories in video games, and he's all like, it needs to be a well-crafted Spielberg script. And I'm like, no, man, it's just got, like, fun. Like I told you, I was playing the TMNT arcade games, because it's on Switch. I'm like,
Well,
I just like playing fun shit.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely different types of games and different types of, like, TV. Like, you can have different types of TV. Like, you said brain rot show. Regular show is just like...
Yeah. Okay, but that's peak television.
Exactly, but it's not something that you would sit down and inherently be like, ah, yes, I love this show. But you love the show.
Yeah.
It's not like...
I don't think I'd like go to die for that show, but
Yeah.
like
Right.
there are definitely other shows where I get what you mean. Like they're
Like, compare regular show to Daredevil.
yeah, or even like miniseries. Like compare like regular show to like an HBO miniseries like Band of Brothers or like The Pacific or something
Band of
like
Brothers
that.
is so good.
I don't know either of those.
They're like historic, so they're based off of Band of Brothers is based off of a unit that an airborne unit that was deployed in France in 1944 for like D-Day and stuff like that, and it follows their journey all the way to, I think they end up in like Hungary or Austria or something like that, all the way up at the end of the war. And then the Pacific follows submarines that start on like Guadalcanal and then move all the way to like Iwo Jima and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Like, I disagree with that,
Yeah.
that post.
The reason why most people who say I can't get a girl is because they're ugly as fuck.
I mean, no, because like I
I think
I
it's
don't know,
more
not to sound weird, but
It
like
is a personality.
I have guy friends that I think are like objectively attractive
Yeah.
guys,
That guy over there?
but they don't know how to talk to girls, and they're weird. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you just need to be more personable, and like not to say that in like a disrespectful way. It's just like there's this stigma that like women are scary, and you know they'll bite your head off if you try and talk to them and stuff like that. Like, no, man, you just got to say what's up, start a little casual conversation, and
I don't know. I've been fortunate. I've never had to like go out and date.
Yeah.
So like all my friends that struggle to get girlfriends come to me. And it's like, well, probably not the best person to give you advice,
yeah.
but you know, I have always been of the mindset of like, you cannot talk to someone and get a genuine connection if you're trying to date them. Like, if, say I wanted to date you and I walk into every conversation knowing like, man, I really hope you want to date me too. Like, I hope I can find some sort of connection here. If it's not a genuine vibe,
Yeah.
like I think in real life, you and I are more likely to date because we are just cool
Yes.
than if we were to be like,
Just some chill guys.
oh God, I really hope. I
Yeah.
really, really hope.
Well, and it's
How do I impress this person? It's like, just do you.
It's a lot of pressure.
yeah,
on
when
it.
you can find situations where you can be yourself and be comfortable within that and not need to tailor your beliefs or your personality to, I guess, a certain
Yeah. It's like
situation or
literally just
relationship
be
that's-
confident in yourself
Yeah.
and you'll be fine.
This one killed me. So this person has 2 unpopular opinions.
Oh no.
Right, hold on. Shadow the Hedgehog is a good game, and also, we should annex Canada.
Okay, yeah, second one. yeah.
Juxtaposition.
No explanation?
No explanation. Oh, I don't have anything else on my mind right now.
Cool.
Okay, so
Honestly, I did.
Shadow the Hedgehog is a good game.
But honestly, Canada...
No, I'm not entertaining that. That's
Ooh, here's one.
That's some bullshit.
Music needs more guitar solos nowadays.
No. Music needs more creativity, and that does not come in
Yeah.
the form of solos.
You can be
What do you
creative
mean,
in a
man? You need
solo.
Kurt Hammock on his wah pad going.
See, but imagine, look, you say that, and then you hear a SZA song come on the radio, and all of a sudden there's a guitar solo.
Yeah, it's just
No,
that's fair.
it needs to be more creative.
That's fair.
I kind of agree with this one. Will Smith is just as much to blame for his relationship as Jada Smith.
What?
How?
Will Smith has always been like an arrogant dick.
Willow Smith?
Well, I mean, I understand.
Oh, Will
I
is just as
understand that
much to blame.
he's-
yeah. Whenever
I
the
mean,
slap
I understand
came
that
down,
he's like, yeah, he's arrogant and yeah, he's an asshole, but I don't know if Jada thought that way, she should have just. I mean, she's already pretty successful herself at that point. So
That's a whole mess. They should have
it's
just
not
talked.
like she needed, him for anything. She's already successful herself. Like if she didn't like him, she should have just left instead of cheating on him.
Yeah, I mean, they should have just talked about it at the end of the day. I think they're both at fault, but
Yes.
it's not Will's fault that Jada cheated on him.
Exactly.
I'm trying to go because a lot of these are literally just like I think Democrats and Republicans both suck. Like it's.
I think everybody sucks.
Literally.
Yeah.
But it's deeper than that. I think literally there is something about everybody that sucks, me included.
What? I think this is just confusing. I think sex should be widely accepted than violence when it comes to media. I just think it's absurd how the same people who flip out over 3 seconds of a woman's nipple in a film are the same ones that have no problem letting their 10-year-olds watch a gory shoot-up video game.
Yeah, I think there's some validity to that. I mean, I don't think we need to be like exposing our children and like young people to sexual content, but I think on the flip side, we need to do a better job at limiting what kind of gory content and stuff like that children can be exposed to.
I don't think the gore stuff is like really as big of an issue as some people make it seem like.
We
Like,
interviewed.
it's literally
depends on what it is, because if it's granted, if it's like practical effects, like it's very overdone stuff like that, that's one thing.
yeah.
But when you have like middle schoolers getting on live leak and stuff
You're
like
just
that,
as likely to see the other side of this argument, though. Like,
yeah,
I think that I don't know. I think understanding violence is more likely than understanding sexualization. One makes you think a certain way. You develop porn addictions. You develop bad ways of thinking when you're overexposed to those things,
Well,
and then they're okay within you.
But then on the
if
flip
you,
side, I think you become desensitized to, to violence. You become desensitized to, you see it in so many people within our generation. It's just like, oh, this dude got ran over by a train. Like you'll see people like
Yes.
scrolling on their
snuff
timelines,
stuff.
and I'll see my buddies like scrolling on their timelines, and like I'll see a video of someone like dying on their Twitter
Shot
timeline. I'm
in the
like,
neck.
what the fuck is wrong with
But
you?
look,
Like respectfully.
this is to my point. You understand violence,
Yeah.
whereas there's not really any understanding over sexualization.
Well, I mean, I think at this point in my life, I understand that, like, sure, people make that content, and you know what? Sure, they make a living off of it. Good for them. I understand that I think especially like a lot of guys within our age, that kind of content is really negative and super hurtful in the way that we perceive and view women.
Yeah.
I think just as a generation.
Yeah. It's the same thing. I feel like, what are we? Z?
Yeah.
What was right before us?
Millennials,
Yes.
So,
unfortunately.
what
I'm
is
just kidding.
after us?
Alpha.
Alpha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far are we from Alpha?
Wait, like in years? I
Yeah.
think Alpha started in 2010.
I'll check.
Because I
could be
genuinely,
wrong.
I think that there's, I don't know, I understand the way that they break up generations, I get it, but I feel like
It's definitely weird.
I am not Gen Z, but I'm not a millennial. I feel like Gen Z is so much more recent.
I just never look at it that deep. Am I right? 2010.
Yep.
Until what? It must have
To
stopped.
2024.
Gotcha.
So
So whoever kids born this year is in the one next to that.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
I think that
There's two generations behind.
yeah,
it.
Gen Z is 1997 to 2012, which is
I've got younger parents. So like
Same.
my parents are on the like what is before Gen Z?
X.
millennial.
Millennial?
Is
Oh, yeah,
before
you're
Gen
right.
Z and then
Millennial
Gen
and then
X.
Gen
is-
X.
So my parents are on the younger side of millennial. But
Damn,
yeah.
my parents are Gen X's.
Well, no, okay.
So are
No,
mine.
seeing that my parents are millennials, but they're on the
Yeah, my dad was.
my parents were born in
76.
'84.
Okay.
So I think that I don't know the to go back to the sexualization and violence thing. It's like I remember that being a problem when I was like in elementary school. Like I don't think that's a problem now. Like we need to make sure video games are not influencing our kids. I remember that being a thing in elementary school.
Yeah,
It's been like 15
I
years.
do think that there's definitely been a drawback on that.
What I'll say, whenever we did the Horizon a year ago, before you guys were there, we interviewed a guy from Bloomington who researched if violent video games translate to violent behavior, and he said the only study that had concrete evidence. He goes, a 2-year-old playing a Mario game will show more violent behavior than a 12-year-old playing Call of Duty, because kids from that age are so much more impressionable. If you see Mario jump on someone's head, they're gonna do it. But at that
Yeah.
point, when someone's like 10 to like 12 that age, they can disassociate.
Right. I
like
think
that.
it's what I'm saying is like there's an understanding. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I am aware that it is bad to shoot people in the head as a 10-year-old, but I also understand that this is a video game.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I understand that. But if you are 10 or 12 and you go to the GTA strip club, it's like neurons, and then
Pixel titties.
then
Yeah.
you learn what the internet can do, and then you develop bad addictions. It's gratification versus understanding.
That's fair.
I think there's a much smaller percentage of people that see violent video games and go, I'm gonna go
Let's
shoot
do
something
that.
up.
Yeah.
Versus-
because that argument that's used by old people pisses me off. Like,
Yeah.
you play violent video games, so you want to go shoot somebody.
Right.
Yeah,
Everybody
okay,
that
buddy.
plays a violent video game wants to go do that.
Yeah.
I think that the number of people that play violent video games and do violent crime is much smaller than the amount of people that partake in over-sexualization and have
I can do that.
Exactly, man. I want to get more violent when I'm playing FIFA than when
Call
I'm
of
playing
Duty.
Call of Duty.
Right.
Right? Like,
Well, but not to defend video games too hard. It's a way to get those things out.
Yeah.
Those are normal human thoughts.
well,
Like,
and like, I think, and I know that this is going to be such like a nerdy, little argument to stand on, but I think that very well thought out and well done single player games can take you on just as good of an imaginary thrill journey
As a movie book.
as a movie or book.
Yeah.
Like
100%
Red Dead
agree.
Redemption, like Baldur's Gate 3,
Yeah.
like
God
The
of War.
Last of Us, God of War. If you have a single player game that just does a really good job at creating a setting, creating a story that you can really, almost like
just lose yourself in it.
lose yourself and, kind of escape from the shit that's stressing you out in your normal life. Granted, you always have to moderate that stuff because you don't want it to become like a form of escapism.
Yeah,
stuff
or
like that, but-
parasocial
Yeah.
in nature. Like, yeah.
But I think, within moderation, I think those games can definitely be good outlets
Yeah.
to...
This one I think is funny. I hate vocals in music. All music should just be instrumental. I disagree
no.
with that.
I
I've been listening to too much Elton John.
Does he know that he can just listen to pieces and not listen to songs?
Well, does he also know that, like, most artists put
You
out
want me
the-
to ask him?
Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah,
have you ever heard of Mozart?
Yeah,
Jackass?
Yeah. And most artists now are putting out instrumental versions of their songs. So,
Right.
like,
The,
why do you have to voice? That's not an opinion.
Well, and it's like even...
This one's even dumber. Oh, I know.
even like people put out specifically like just instrumental tracks within their albums. Like some of my favorite Metallica songs are Orion, Call of Cthulhu, and To Live Is
Dude,
to
a
Die.
song in my Spotify rotation right now came from TikTok. I'm gonna show you. It's like a TikTok edit noise.
Yeah.
old 8-bit like
Yes.
audio stuff.
I love that song just because it's like, It's like
Yeah.
a little reset for the brain.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree, but I definitely don't agree.
My unpopular opinion is that if you hate pit bulls, the dog, it is incredibly racist.
No elaboration?
No, it's it.
Cool.
One sentence.
Yeah, that's way generic. It's way too
Yeah.
generic and way too broad.
Breaking Bad is a snooze fest to watch, and it's super overrated.
You're just never rate
What's
again.
your favorite TV show? I would love to know this
Like
individual.
I think you're asking me
Great British
personally.
Bake Off.
Yeah, Cake
Which,
Boss.
Which, those are great shows, but,
What, Cupcake Wars?
Don't call my show stupid, because, I'm not going to call your show stupid.
What, you like American Pickers?
Everyone watches TV shows to get their own little bit of enjoyment out of. I think if you make fun of someone for the shit they watch, I think that's very childish.
It's critically acclaimed as one of the greatest shows of all time.
Yeah.
You're
okay.
wrong.
But a caveat to that, if they're watching some, like, I'm not going to, like, super get into it, but if they're watching some, like, crazy shit, man, then, maybe check.
I've watched all kinds of different shows, and I think Breaking Bad will never not be in the top 5.
Yeah, it's peak.
If you have no kids, then divorce or splitting up isn't actually that bad. Just move on. Deal with your feelings for a couple of months.
No, because...
Depends on how long.
Because it makes marriage seem like casual dating, and
Ooh,
there's such a big divide
I like that.
between that. Well, and like for me, I'm Catholic, so like
Marriage is important.
There's a whole sacrament that's surrounding marriage, so that's something that's sacred to me. You don't just like get divorced and then hop on Hinge. Like,
Yeah.
To me, that's kind of messed up. Sure, if that's becoming a societal norm, and other people want to do that, they can do that.
Yeah.
That's their choice, but I don't know. There's a little bit more of a seriousness to
I like
those
the way you put that.
relationships.
I like the way you put that.
Parking shouldn't be free anywhere.
Should not?
Should not be free anywhere.
I mean, I see the side of that argument because all parking or almost all parking lots have to be paid for or like rented out. So like that's why when I like go and do stadium parking or stuff like that, I don't get super mad because that to pay for that parking structure, it's probably like $600 to $700 million.
I think that it's absolutely ridiculous to charge $40 for a parking spot, though.
But
Absolutely.
I think. I mean, I don't know.
I understand your
think
point.
We should find ways instead of to make it cheaper to park because it's just going to increase traffic leaving events and stuff like that. We should find ways to increase public transportation and stuff like that so that leaving events, you know, it's quicker, it's more efficient, there's not a lot of traffic buildup around the stadiums within the cities. Like what the Clippers are doing right now. The Clippers have this really cool program that they're running where they'll have parking lots set up around the city. And they'll have, that's free parking for Clippers games, and they'll have public transportation come, pick up the fans, and then drop them off at the stadium. And then when the game's done, they'll get on the same buses and they'll drop them off at the.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's like lowered the traffic.
But I just think
it's LA, so.
I do just think it's crazy. Like, it costs Nike $5 to make these shoes.
Yeah.
And you pay
sell 'em
65, 85.
Yeah.
Or 115 if the
Yeah.
if the
Like more
Blazers
than
are But like I don't know. It's a parking spot. Yeah. Obviously, if you got to make your money back and you want to charge me $10, $15,
Yeah.
cool. I do not want to. I don't want to pull a $50 bill out to have to park.
Yeah.
This
crazy.
one made me laugh. Beards are just facelifts for men. Tons of men are hot as hell with their beard, but once they shave, they look like a sloth for my
Yeah,
age.
no, for real, facial hair is a man's makeup.
I'm
In a
waiting.
sense.
I'm waiting.
I'm right there with you, man.
I'm waiting, man.
Ooh, people who are in polyamorous relationships are literally just narcissistic sex pests.
Whoa.
That's
I
it's a
mean,
gnarly one. Here's my thing. I don't get it, but like
if
you do
want to
you.
do what you want to do,
Yeah.
do you. You know?
I do think that those types of relationships are more likely to have turmoil because
Yeah.
you've got another
Yeah.
person involved, and it's like, I don't know.
But it's also.
And then it's just not to go back to the human nature thing, but like jealousy.
Yeah.
Like every polyamorous relationship I've known, like I've known people that are in them and been around. There's usually always some form of gossip, and then something goes wrong.
Yeah.
There's a few cases where that's not the case, and obviously those people are able to navigate their emotions probably better. But there are definitely some. I don't know. I don't like. If you're gonna do you, go do you. But like
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's not my cup of tea.
Jar Jar Binks is actually great. He's just a silly
No.
guy to break the tension
Shut
of
up.
the movie. I hate Jar Jar.
Yeah. No.
I will agree with the second half. He's a silly guy to break
Yes.
up the tension of the movie, but he's kind of just a loser.
Yeah.
I
They could have, and I don't know. I think the Gungans are so cool, and they picked the corniest and lamest one to be the companion for Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. What the? Yeah.
This one is a little topical, a little heavy. You shouldn't vote. It's probably what's best for America anyway. Both parties suck, and we shouldn't care.
No, I think I think if you don't vote, then you don't have the right to complain. I think if you want the right to complain, then you need to vote.
the opposite, actually.
I mean,
You ever see the George Carlin?
You
video?
guys are wearing red and blue. This is very cool.
No, don't put me in the Nazi. Sweet- the,
Hey, man.
Yeah, I was so nervous. Look at the hat. I was so nervous for this. Obviously, it's the 47th year they've been a business.
yeah, the red 47 is tough.
But I was so.
Isn't Donald Trump from New York too?
He's got a building in New York.
Oh, sweet. It'd be funny if you go over and rip this off and just make America great. Here was, I'll just do this, my kind of short thing on it. I could have voted, obviously, Harris Trump, and I could have voted in 2020 when it was Biden Trump. I didn't. Just because I hate politics and what it does to people.
I mean,
So I've taken such a clean, anti-status on it. I will probably never vote.
I think, I don't.
But I don't
know.
really complain either.
I don't talk about politics a whole lot, but I think that the two-party system in such a diverse world doesn't.
it
It
definitely
doesn't do
work.
anything.
It's weird.
But I mean, the thing is though, like, if we don't do anything about it, the system will continue to perpetuate.
But the system also, like, this is just an example I know. RFK Jr. tried to run as an independent.
Yeah, but it's RFK. Let's be honest.
But they also shut him out. Like
Yeah.
they made it really, really hard for him.
But I mean, like even
the CIA did kill his whole family.
well, and like, but
It could be anybody.
They
It could be
also do that
anybody,
within
though.
like their own parties and stuff like that. Like in 2016, listen, if in 2016, if the Democrats wouldn't have let Hillary Clinton run and they actually would have listened to their voter base and let Bernie Sanders run, like but yeah, I won't get into it, but they completely killed his campaign because they wanted a freaking neocon in power.
Right, it doesn't feel fair to, it feels so absolute, and I don't understand how we can be so inclusive and so diverse and want everyone to be represented, but then dilute it down to,
Yeah.
are you a MAGA supporter, or are you
Woke.
woke?
Well, and it's like
I don't.
like one system, and I mean, obviously this is all make-believe, contrary.
Did you just rip ass?
Hell yeah.
Ifs, ands, or buts, not to be funny. But like, I think like a really perfect system would be like a parliamentary, like Congress system where you have like 6 separate parties, and you know they can team up and work together and stuff like that. But to go back to,
I've got a thought on that whenever you're done.
I think that specifically right now, I think that it is maybe not, well, obviously not voting because there aren't any elections going on right now, but I think it's at least important to be informed on what's going on because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now within our government, and I think it's just important that people pay attention and stay well read on it because it's important.
When it comes to like who's running with who, I've always thought that, like, say I was president and I'm working towards this agenda for maybe 8 years if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
If you're the next president, you're either going to continue to further that or undo it.
Yeah.
I've always been of the mindset as an adult, as I've become an adult. I didn't get to vote in the 2020 election, but that's when I was still paying, like I was old enough to pay attention to it and be like, whoa, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've always thought that it should be whoever's president, your vice president better disagree with you. It doesn't serve you to have, say I'm president and we're, one line of thinking and you're my vice president. It doesn't serve me to serve people if you're just going to say, yes, Mr. President, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
We're not working together on anything.
But, I mean, that's what Congress and the judiciary courts are for.
So why shouldn't our executive branch do the same?
Well, because, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I think with where the state of affairs are, if right now, currently, you had Donald Trump, and a Democrat vice president, fired every day. Every day.
That's the thing. That's the thing about Trump is that he.
But I mean, it's like it's on the flip side though. It's like depending on who your Democratic president is, you'd have a Republican vice president, and then they just start firing them. Like they step out of line one time, and they just start firing.
I
them.
guess politics are so different now. I guess I mean more so of like a co-presidency. Vice president shouldn't be inferior.
Where we have like
My issue.
where it's like it's like a parliamentary government where you have like a prime minister and a president.
I don't know much about other types of government.
So like, well, okay, and that might not be the correct way to break it down, but like in like Canada and like the UK and stuff like that, they'll have like their prime minister and then they'll have like, I think like another smaller role underneath it, kind of acts like a vice president, but has like a little bit more, I guess, legislative power. But also within that government, they have like there's 6 separate parties. So like on the left, you'll have like your super far left, and then like you'll have like your middle left, and then like your or just like your left and then like your middle left. And then like on the flip side, you'll have like your middle right, right, and then far right. So that way everybody gets a voice, and that way also the crazy cuckoos can get shoved in their own corners.
I think that is,
Yeah.
people take
Can't
the
bring
far right
down-
people and stereotype it with normal people.
Well, and it's like, you see the stereotyping on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone on the right is a dumb, uneducated racist.
Yeah.
You know, and not everyone on the left is some blue-haired barista
Disney
that,
adult.
that gets offended when you
Hey,
say,
there's my unpopular opinion. I hate Disney adults.
Disney adults
yeah.
are
Well,
wild.
okay, yeah. I think that's a very fair opinion to have. Disney adults are terrible.
Here's what my thing, because the main reason I don't really keep up with politics or like really have, one thing I say I don't vote is I don't care about most issues. And when I say that, people are like, you don't care about the border, you don't care about women's rights. I'm like, I didn't say that. I just don't care about the fighting argument and the whole like sideline stuff about
Yeah.
it. I always tell people,
Well, and I mean, you almost have to look through the culture war bullshit though, because I think right now in the space or the setting that American politics is, culture war bullshit is just used to divide people. Like,
100%.
I'm not gonna, for the sanctity of us, I'm not gonna, I guess, name specific like stuff, but like, you know, they'll say some XYZ bullshit and they're like, you gotta believe this or this will happen, or if you don't believe this, then this will happen, and
I will
it's
never-
causing the divide.
I'll never sign up for that end all be all. I remember when Roe v. Wade got overturned, and like people were freaking out about it, and I was like, just went back to the states. Anything these presidents say is done, it just goes back to the states. That's
Yeah.
like, and don't get me wrong, I'd get like, it's like, oh yeah, if you live in a blue state, like Roe v. Wade, for example, you're in a blue state, you're fine. I'm like, yeah, some people will probably have to like travel, and there's gonna be laws about traveling, but I'm like, no figure is just gonna be like, we're banning watermelon, and it just happens instantly. I'm like, that kind of stuff doesn't it has never happened.
I think
I will not get behind it.
my biggest upset with all of it is like we want to be inclusive as a nation, but we dilute everyone is diluted down to left or right.
It's never gonna be.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where something like that should be implemented, but the way our system works, that's not even allowed to be presented, and that's why I brought up RFK. Someone like that,
Well, and it's like,
disagree with him or not,
I
trying to be different and present a new outlet is going to get shut down immediately
Yeah.
because it doesn't benefit either of these people.
and I think I'd have a little bit more respect for RFK if he didn't join
The administration.
the administration.
Well,
'Cause it's like,
there's a lot of Democrats that joined his administration that I think is interesting.
I think the only one was Tulsi Gabbard, but she's
And RFK, I mean, you take a family of lifelong Democrats,
Yeah,
that's
sorry,
interesting.
Linda.
You're fine. Don't let it happen again.
Okay.
We're starting to divide.
Yeah, I'm going to... I'm kidding.
One thing I will, and that kind of sets up my whole thing about it. I've said like how I don't really like just the argument. It divides people. My like kind of one thing I was going to say to wrap it up is, what's your guys' unpopular opinion? There was here's mine. Like I have obviously a bunch of silly ones, like movies that are terrible I think are good, vice versa. But one I think like culturally is, there's a Reddit page where it was called, I still look at it, I think it's fascinating. It's called Teenage Opinions, where they give their opinions and you have to put your age. And you said like we're this more inclusive world. We're not. Racism, sexism, homophobia will never go away. You will see like, I think we should burn all gays, age 13. I'm like,
those are also people that don't understand, and that goes back to the violence thing.
yes. Well, and
Still.
it's people that age don't understand the weight and I guess the value of what they say.
You don't know what it means. Like,
Yeah.
dude, there were so many people that I went to high school with that would text the N-word.
oh yeah.
Well, and I think
And they're not, racist, but they were doing bad things, and they didn't understand they didn't understand what that meant. And maybe they should have, and maybe that's a problem of, a question of parenting or who we are as a society, but there's not enough to help especially young kids understand.
Yeah.
Well, my big thing is just, I hear it all the time. Once the boomers and the old people die out, we'll be okay. I'm like, no, we're not.
No, because
Yeah.
Like-
racism, sexism, all this stuff, it ain't ever going away.
well, and it's like
I'll be here till the sun
this
explodes.
is the pattern. And not to say this is a pattern, but every time there is a little bit of progressive change, there will always be a group that is reactionary. That's just how human nature works. You know, it kind of just depends on how far back you have to go before you can continue to make progress again.
Well, and there's always things. I guess it's interesting to think about because if you just think about, this is kind of how I frame it in my mind, like Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
That is an ideology that will always be around. There are things that are innately Christian in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There are things that are innately racist in nature. The same, like racist, homophobic. Those are not that they're religions, but they're ideologies.
Some people treat it like a religion.
Right. And you take something. Yes, we might not have slaves in our country in the form that we did back then.
Now they're just in our penal system.
Did you say penile?
Or, well, corrections system.
Oh,
I guess,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Prison system.
Where I was going with that is, like the
I think
idea.
it might actually be the way it's pronounced.
Penile?
It's not
He
penile, but
did not say. He
You said penal.
penal, not
penal.
penile. Yeah, the penal system.
Penal?
yeah, in criminal justice, particularly North America, corrections are described as the penal system.
What does penal stand for?
Penis eating.
Peanuts. It's the peanut system.
Yeah. But what I was saying is, I think
People eating nasty ass. Later.
I think that those ideologies will be forever rooted,
Yeah.
and they will find themselves to pop up in different ways, like the Gaza-Israel thing. Like that is, you could argue that it is based on one of those ideological pillars.
Well, it's
So like it'll never go away, to your
Yeah.
point, but it's also like the ship of Theseus. Like if you take a pirate ship and it's on the water, and every piece of the ship eventually needs maintenance, and you replace it, and eventually every piece has been replaced.
And
Is it still the same ship? Racism now doesn't mean what racism meant then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
get
I
that.
mean,
Homophobia now doesn't mean what it meant then.
it's because
Christianity now doesn't mean what it meant then.
yeah,
Those ideologies, they're evolving the same way, but
well,
people
I don't
act
think
like
you can label. I mean, well, yes, you can label. I guess like racism and
it's a line of thinking. It's an ideology.
I just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, you can do things that are racist, but in the same way that you can do things that are Christian. You can do things that are Catholic. You can do
Yeah.
things that are, and it gets even more diluted. Like you can do things that are fun. You can do
Yeah,
things
that's
that are
fair.
like there are lines of thinking, and they're evolving, and then people now hold actions now to standards then, and I don't think that's very fair.
Oh no, because I mean, like historical context and stuff like that. Obviously, when you look at stuff that happened in the past, you need to look at it from an objective standpoint, and
Yeah.
it's like why this happened for the time period, what can be taken away, what can be critically analyzed from this, like that, we can learn from this and stuff like that. So
I don't know. It's
I say a fun, just like unpopular opinion, a more fun way to kind of end it. Like unpopular opinions that we have, like it's kind of more on the
Yeah.
fun side. Mine, I said during the Marvel thing, I think X-Men is the best superhero team. Like,
I don't think that's unpopular.
yeah,
I think people agree
I
with
think
you.
a lot of people.
I think
like
if you
the
had said that in the
X-Men more.
'90s, people would have agree with me. But now, because the Avengers and
That's
everything,
fair.
I think, especially kids, if you told a group of like 12-year-olds, they'd be like,
Well, that's
"Who's
because
the X-Men?"
that's because all they know is Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. Like
That's fair.
they
But
know
still.
the movies.
Yeah.
But if you're upset that a 12-year-old disagrees with you, is your opinion really unpopular?
I would beat the shit out of every 12-year-old that disagrees.
My unpopular opinion
Wolverine's cool.
is Donatello's the worst Ninja Turtle.
Oh, go to hell.
Damn, bro.
I'm
Damn, he said it right to his face.
I'm kidding.
Leo was always my least favorite, just because he got all the cool storylines.
I'll say this, not to keep going full circle, but I was thinking.
I love you guys.
I was thinking about pizza.
Uh-huh.
And like, I've been fortunate enough to travel the country in a bunch of different like staple pizza places.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago is the best. LA is the worst.
Well,
Like out west is
I
the
haven't
worst.
had-
listen. LA is the land of pretentious.
I'm talking about pizza.
My food's better than yours. Like,
Was I the only one that cheered when it was on fire?
I wouldn't say I cheered when it was on
Just
fire.
kidding.
Yeah, their pizza stinks.
Oh no, a multi-millionaire lost his house. Cool. A homeless guy just died on the street, but who cares about that?
A lot of normal people
Also lost their homes in the fire.
Thank
and
you.
died.
But for some reason, I had to cry on the news that Tom Hanks lost his home.
Oh no, one of his 4 houses?
No! It's not like they all already live in Texas anyway.
Yeah, right? Yeah, but I think Chicago's the best, followed by New York and Detroit, and then the West Coast.
The
in
West
its
Coast
entirety.
is
Just
just
that region.
Yeah.
you people. I'm just kidding. Don't say that. Don't say that, guys.
You
You'll get in a lot of trouble real
That
fast.
might get you canceled.
Yeah.
Your unpopular opinion.
What's your unpopular
My
opinion?
unpopular opinion? Oh, I mean, I got a couple, just like some super basic ones about restaurants.
Probably
I think,
Oh yeah.
gas is too expensive.
I think that from Chewy's, the creamy jalapeno dip, it sucks. It's the most, and ranch, the most overrated condiment ever created.
Wait, Jordan, put down that gum. Put down the gum.
Jordan, it's okay, buddy.
Bang! No.
I'm gonna go play a video game.
Yeah.
That hurts.
I've
That's
never had
unpopular.
it.
Well, and it's
It's
you're not
good.
missing out on much.
No, you're missing out on everything.
It's like it's literally just like it's Tex-Mex ranch, and it's like
Oh my God.
another
Oh my gosh.
another unpopular opinion. Chewy's is just a bastardization of Hispanic food. I get that.
I never
I guess that
liked
it's
it.
Tex-Mex.
Totally agree.
And that's what it is.
The sauce, though, do not.
And you
Do
know
not
what?
come. Do
I'm
not come.
I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna come.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Soda.
Minnesota.
No, the fact that was cut to just soda is so good.
Soda.
Soda.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Maybe
it's
the clip of Trump like,
maybe it's just because I worked there and
Yeah.
I had it so many times.
You worked at Chewy's?
Yes, I worked there for
see,
like a whole summer.
That's the thing. I worked at Bubba's 33.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't eat there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everything-
I love it, but
I remember everything about it though, like the texture of the floor, just how dirty
dude,
the kitchen is.
that's how I feel. Josh, do you ever eat at the Highlander Point Beef O'Brady's?
All the time.
Don't. I used to work there. Just don't. Just,
My
just
stomach
don't.
starts curdling.
Yeah,
and all
dude,
that
just
stuff.
don't.
Like, not that Bubba's does anything wrong, but I just remember all of the things I hate. Like, the dishwasher smelled like hot lettuce
Well,
all the time. And I just, like,
I hope we don't get like cease and desist.
no.
From
It's just
From
from my
the-
experience. What are you going to cease and desist? My
Right.
opinion?
That's fair.
Damn.
They can cease and desist these nuts.
What? What?
Ooh.
Am I lying that the dishwasher didn't thoroughly wash the
And
dishes?
smell like hot lettuce.
I rolled the silverware, bro. I know that
Oh,
wasn't clean.
not rolling silverware. I hate that shit. Dude.
Yeah.
That kitchen it's interesting.
I will say, not our next show that we film, but the one after that. It's gonna be Nick's birthday special.
Yay.
Is it-
Did you guys get me gifts for my birthday or no?
No.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
what do you
giving-
want to do?
chill episode.
You want to go to Sky Zone? You want
Dude.
take you to Chuck E. Cheese?
A vlog episode would be sick.
I don't know. We'll brainstorm.
We should sit down and podcast in the middle of an establishment.
Wait, are we? Well, go to like a bar podcast. Like,
We're bar crawling.
There we go.
Me and Jordan ordering water.
Yeah,
It's like
I'll-
Weekend
I'll
at Bernie's. We're holding him up drunk.
I'll drive and you guys can. Do you not drink?
I don't.
You guys can just get.
That makes that beer glass I got you way funnier.
That's what the joke. I feel
The
I
Dr.
think
Pepper.
Yeah,
I
the
feel like
Dr.
Dr.
Pepper.
Pepper.
You guys can just get Shirley Temples the whole time.
Ooh, we can do a Shirley Temple review, and you can just.
I'll just get
plastered.
I'll just get wasted.
Again, Weekend at Bernie's. Give him sunglasses. I get one arm. You got the other. We try to drag him along.
Yeah.
Marmalade, please.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know what you want to do for your birthday.
But
We're sound like two gay dads. Just let us know what we can do.
We
for your
look like
birthday.
two gay dads.
And on that note, what do you want to do next week, though?
have sex.
Yeah. What do gay dads do?
Knit.
Hey guys,
Ooh,
I still got my cuck chair, so you know.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, man. From the dating app or from the compatibility
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still seated and waiting to use this cuck chair. So let me use it, damn it.
When I make a new intro, that is going to be your clip.
I want a cup chair.
Let me use my chair.
And mine's going to be from the Trump one.
The final remarks, boys.
No.
Yeah.
To make podcasts great again.